I made this craft when I was about 8 years old. I really love fiber arts, still do, and it has been a Christmas tree decoration ever since. I would love to hear about any crafts you made as a kid that is still existing on either your tree or somebody in your family's tree. Tell me about it all in the comments. I would love to hear. I'm using some willow charcoal, little decoration that this little bear is holding. It's probably going to be about here. I can kind of change this compared to the photo. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you can get this photo in the links below. And I'm going to just put this little paw right about here. And that little arm, it's kind of like a little kidney bean, right? So we're just going to draw a little kidney bean for that arm. And a little arc for the belly. You can make him a little fatter if you want to. He's got this little foot coming in here, kind of looks like a little boot, so you can make almost like a little Christmas stocking shape. And then he's got another little arc where his leg is coming in, and then another little Christmas stocking. Essentially he's got another little boot like so, and like he's a fictional character, so I don't want you to feel any pressure. His little butt, also a semicircle, little shape like a kidney shape again, a little dip, and upper body. Make sure that you could even draw that through if it helps you. And then there's going to be our head. So I'm going to make his head quite big because, you know, bigger the head, the more cartoon the creature, the cuter it is. And then that ear, again, you can make the ear quite a big semicircle. Here's just going to be his little face. Make the eyes however you like. And another little arc coming down. Santa's hat, nice and round there. The hat's got this big kind of swoop that comes right down into there, and then it goes up and around, just a big curve. And like I said, it does not have to be perfect because it's a fictional character. You can't go wrong. There we go. I'm going to use pan pastel for the background, but you could use soft pastel if you want to. And I'm just going to really go to town here. Even going to put in a bit of blue just to add some visual interest here. I'm going to block in his hat with this very vibrant red. It's not necessarily the red that the little bear has, but I like it. It's vibrant, it's holiday, so there we go. And we're going to go kind of painterly here, so goal is not perfection. That's what I mean when I say painterly. It's going to be with some strokes. We're just going to swipe in. Same with this Christmas decoration. You're blocking it in at this point. At this point, it's almost being like a child, drawing it in. Doesn't have to be perfect. Swoop. Here we go. Just like so. I can do the same with the berries actually. Just block those berries in. Like that. Then I can pick up a lighter color. So I've got this like pinky color. Oh, I guess I'll make a little mark for you guys here so you can see what I'm working with. And yeah, now we've got this pinky color. And with this, I'm going to put in the highlights. So highlight on the hat, Doesn't go in super light. I'm gonna wipe this off actually. You can do that with your pastels. See if you can get a little more color on there. And if it's not going down the way you wanted it to, if you want it brighter, then pick a lighter tone. So I've got this pink now here instead. And I'm gonna go, yeah, there we go. Highlight, boom, done. And then for our texture around the edge, I'm just gonna kind of put them in segments. Little highlight texture, doop, doop. Like so. And we've got a little bit of highlight even through here. So you can swipe a little on there and a little through the top, like that. If you need to round anything out, and if by rounding out you went a little too much and you don't like it, you've always got your color. You can bring it back in. Go. That is for our lighter pink color. And then I'm going to bring in some shadow a little bit. So I'm going to go with like a darker red. Let's see if this one goes down. I'm going to put that little shadow in there. You can decide whether you want this to be stitched or whether you just kind of want to have different shadows. I want to feel like it is puffed up. So I'm going to put a little shadow in at the base of where I want the red. And I might even want to scrape in this a little bit to create that texture that we've got in the hat. Whereas darker color back here for our shadow. And if you wanted this hat rounded off a little bit more, well, bring in your dark color again. You have the technology. I'm going to use this as a light blue, and that light blue, I'm just going to make a mark for this little circle. There's going to be other colors in here too, other tones. But that's my block in. So I'm just blocking it in with that color that I've chosen. Now you could choose a slightly different color, you know, something close to white, but it doesn't have to be a blue. It could be pinky color even if you want. And actually it's smearing a little right now, and that's okay. Whoop. Shadows, we'll try this out. Okay. Yeah, it's a bit of a neutral there. And we had quite a light. So that's going to be my shadow. Sing. Gonna throw that in here too. This is one of those things where in the beginning you're going to be like, Heather, what are you doing? I'm Heather, by the way. But we just kind of throw it on there because it's just a painterly look. Now let's get some browns in for the bear. I'm going to start a little darker than you might think, but I'm going to use this like reddish brown for this side of his face and to come under, and the ear. Might even cover the whole ear with it. Just block it in with that color. Just make it a big whew, kind of a C. And following the kidney of the back of the bear, vibrate that in for our little shadow, and same with over the leg and underneath the boot. Just make a whew. Same with the back of this leg. And you can make things bigger now if you want. Going under there and also under the ornament for my little shadow and my little belly. Bears get the ability to have cute little bellies. It's not considered cute when we have them. It's not fair. Oh, to be a teddy bear. There we go. And then I'm going to bring in like my lighter, kind of like a mustardy sort of brown. I guess it's not really mustardy, but it's a lighter brown, and I'm going to just block in. Don't want to cover up my shadow areas with it. And notice I am not blending. I'm not interested in blending this in at this point. I am just blocking in like so. We are going to use our colors to help us with that. Up and over. I'm going to glaze it over that shadow because there isn't so much of that shadow in the actual bear. And again, just kind of glazed it in here too to like allow a little bit of that color to come through. Now you can decide how much of that face do you want to be able to see. I decided to just get rid of the eyes. I'll put them in myself. So I'm going to block in my color there. I'm going to use a little bit of my neutrally color at the base, and then I'm going to throw in that lighter color that I had, just in a little arc. Make a little circle with it like so, just rotated it around. I'm already fairly happy with the way the face is shaping up, so I'm going to dare with my, this is a new pastel, I like new pastel because you can get it pretty sharp, to put in a cute little bear nose. Let's see how this goes. I'm pinning my palm down for some stability, and we're going to make a little triangle. There we go, there's my little triangle. And then I'm going to draw my little mouth, so little hooks. Ding, ding. There we go. You don't want to overwork that. You pretty much just want to leave that, not get carried away. And then I can actually even make my little eyes already. We might regret this later. We might be thinking, oh no, to put those back in again. But we'll see. Don't make them too big. I mean, you can change your eyes. The look of your eye gives a lot of expression to your little character. But we're going to put them like that for now. I'm bringing in a peach, sort of a peachy orange. And I'm going to use this to create some highlight swipes on my legs here. Just areas that you see a little bit lighter color. You don't want to cover all of it, right? You just want to bring it in for little bits. Whew. Anywhere you see that little highlight color, just swoop it in there. It's going to give a little bit more depth, like this belly through the leg there, just a little bit, oops, through the back. And if it does go over and you don't like how much it went over, you've got your background color, don't worry about it. I always forget to put these colors in. I've got to get used to that so that you guys can see what colors I used. And some little highlights on the hands. We're gonna need an even lighter color, I can see that. We're gonna leave shadow hue here and put light there. Now, even though my bear is a little Christmas ornament, I'm gonna give him a little bit of a light in his eyes. So my light is coming down this way. So let's give him little tiny lights in his eyes. So just press on, very small. Now he's just a little bit more alive. I'm also going to use a little bit of my new pastel into the hat here. I'm just gonna go swoop up and over like so, and here too. Just gonna throw a little bit on there and there. I'm going to put a little bit of a highlight here, just kind of to match up with that other one over there, but I don't want to get too carried away with that. A little dark brown at the back here, and even a little bit under the jaw and chin. Okay, maybe that was too much. If it's too much, come in with your little facial color again. And go with that. Could also bring in a little bit of our brown again too. Got to be careful with how we bring that in, so I'm just going to dot it in there. There we go. Now I want to work a little more on the ornament itself. So I'm going back to front. I'm looking at where there are some shadows, and I'm coming with my darker red value. Doesn't want to go on there. There we go. Just adding in a little bit of dimension in certain spots, not getting too carried away. And also up here I can see there's going to be some shadow, and in underneath the bear's hand. Now with this bear's little paw, even gets a little darker still, so I'm just going to put a little dark stitch in there, have around the edge. There's going to be a little bit underneath the ribbon and the bow. Just kind of throw it in randomly, because then I'm going to come in with my purple. I need a really dark purple, so I actually think I might just use the dark blue that we already had. Drawing some little stitches in. Boop, boop, boop. Dashing a line, just like dashing through the snow. Throw in those little dark dashes with that line, and then I'm going to come in with a lighter purple. This is a nice little lavender color. And we can just skate it over some of the stitching here. Kind of try to put it near where you put the dark line. And it doesn't highlight all of it, right? So it's just over certain areas where I'm going to throw that in. Now there's this playful little green bead. I'm going to put that in again with these. I'm going to go dark green first. So that's this guy here. Dark green little beads. Doesn't have to be the same number as what you see in the actual drawing. Dark beads, dark beads. Then we come in with a lighter green. So I'm coming in with this one, is quite a bit lighter. And I'm going to try to match up with where I made my darks. Doesn't have to be perfect because we're not going for realism here. There we go. This one needs a little more, like that. And that's going to be my little highlights. So I'm going to just look where my little highlights are and go and get kind of close to your little green and just dot it in. And that's going to give it a little bit of shine on each one. And yeah, you don't have to get it perfect. Just remember that part. That's really important. There we go. Now, the bow stuff, the embroidery. There's quite a deep dark orange there. This one's fairly dark orange. Just going to put that down. And again, this doesn't have to be perfect. So you're going to start from the center, make little loops on the edge. Don't make as many loops as what you see there, because if you're going painterly, you're not going to be able to pull it off. And a little loop here, little thread there, little thread here, maybe even another loop, because hey, it's your drawing, go with it. And then we want to bring in a nice little gold color. So I got this gold here. I believe I used that in my tutorial making the orange, so if you want to use some golds, this one came from there. And now we do want to match up part of the ribbon. So see where you can kind of go over top with that little string ribbon there. Dot it, kind of overlap it, swoop it. Just pick little points where you have it. You can even do little dashes, maybe too much. And then you might need something even darker. When you need something even darker, maybe bring in this dark red that we were using in the hat and the ornament. And again, just kind of layer that in into certain spots, especially like say in the knot. And we might need to go darker still. There we go. And we also probably have moments where we need to go a little lighter still. So I'm going to pick like quite a sunny yellow here. Keep it it'll cooperate. I'm going to scrape it in quite a bit because it feels pretty hard. Sometimes those hard ones don't go down so well. And just dash it in. Yeah, it doesn't want to cooperate. I need to... Sometimes I've got another version of that. Nice light yellow. I'm going to just use the edge of it. Zing, zing. And just kind of dot it in certain spots. You want to create the illusion of texture. But we don't want to cover all of it, right? Now we need to think about, I got very caught up in my bow. So I still need to do my embroidery down below. I'm going to bring this back in and see if I can kind of dot it and dash it over the lines I already made. That's a challenge. And then bring in the gold color and do the same. See if you can, sorry, that's moving. See if you can just kind of skate it in certain parts. Not all parts, but just certain parts of the embroidery. Just so people know, hey, something's going on there. There's a design there. And then you can come in again with an even lighter color. And it does not have to be grand. Just give a sense like, hey, yeah, there's definitely something there. And then maybe a little shadow in the middle. I'm using a brown for that. To give a sense that, you know what, there's some depth. Got something going on there. Might even use that same brown up here by the ribbon for a little shadow where it's connecting. So then they know, hey, there's definitely something going on here. The idea is to see it from a distance and be aware that there's some texture. I'm going to bring that darker blue in for the stitching down here, even making little stitch lines over top of my light color. If I'm not perfectly in the right spot, it's not too critical. Adding a little there, adding a little in here. And then I can always, like, in areas where I'm like, yeah, Heather shouldn't have put some like stitching there. Well, just come over it with your red. That's the beauty of pastel. It's a very forgiving medium. Just glaze it over where you had the shadow. There we go. Maybe even a little bit here. Just glazing it over. And up at the top here, little glazing texture. Unfortunately, there was a camera glitch while I was working on holly, so what I have been doing is getting rid of the holly, and you can do that. So I've just been getting rid of it with my black here. And that's completely doable. And one of the things that I like about pastel, actually, is it's such a forgiving medium. Now I am going to just run around, mix that up. Like so. And I'm going to add just a little bit of the bright red around my ornament. And a little bit of the pink on it, just for a little highlight. Getting rid of this little bit here. You can do that anywhere you're just like, yeah, I kind of like to clean that up a little. But I don't want to make everything perfect, because I am going for a little bit of a painterly look. So I'm going to throw in a little highlight on this ear, or a little more edge, I should say, a little more definition. And beyond that, now I could add a little bit more of to this little boot I maybe got a little carried away there. And then I'm actually going to put my signature in with the white pastel this time. There we go. That is my little bear ornament.